but someone somewhere has certainly guided me, for sure. Reiki found me, basically. I didn't find it, it found me. I look back those days, how pure and innocent was, but how it was the right thing and the right place to be, and how it's all feeding into everything that I'm doing now. Welcome. I'm Fels, and thanks for joining me. I'm passionate about helping people to transform for their own light to shine. I'm super excited to be in Japan, Kyoto, on Mount Kurama, and this is a wonderful place to be right here where I am now. It has a beautiful presence about it, and a perfect spot to talk about Reiki and my Reiki journey and how I got into Reiki. It was something I didn't know anything about. I'd never heard about Reiki, I didn't know anything about Reiki. I did a little bit of traveling to Europe and a little bit of traveling in US, and my first off the beaten track was Mexico. I turned up to Mexico in 2003, had no idea no one speaks any English whatsoever, and so I had to quickly learn some Spanish. So I knew enough from the TVs and movies to get around, and then with adding an English word with an at the end, and somehow someone understood me. I sat beside this lady who was from Ireland. She said her boss does Reiki, and she said it's really good. And that's all she said. She said her boss does Reiki, it's really good, you should do it. Nothing more. Back in those days, it didn't occur to me to even ask why. What is Reiki? What does it do? Why is it good? Or anything. I just didn't ask a single thing. We travelled together for 2 weeks to Cancun, and she showed me other things like kinesiology. I'd never heard of that before. She said, stick out your arm, let me test it, and I'll show you something. And that was really fun and interesting. When I got home to Australia, in the post was this flyer, and this flyer said, come to the school at night and learn Reiki. And I went, oh, okay. So I joined this class to go to the school at night to learn Reiki, all because someone said it was good. Good for what? I had no idea. I was so trusting and innocent back then, and I just barely had the Nokia mobile brick phone, which I barely even used. So it didn't even occur to me to research back then. And then, as you do, because I'm very analytical, I'm very corporate world and teacher's pet, and I was told there's Reiki 1, 2 and 3. And the logic thing is, well, you finish the series, don't you? So you do 1, 2 and 3, because that's what you do, you finish it all. So I went back and did 1, 2 and 3. There was a bit of a long gap between Reiki 2 and Reiki 3, which has another story to it as well. But what's interesting, I didn't know where it was going to lead, what it was for. I just turned up because you finished a series and someone said it was good. Eventually along the way, I discovered more about Reiki, and then I started understanding what it's all about. But someone somewhere has certainly guided me, for sure. Reiki found me, basically. I didn't find it, it found me. 10 years on after that, I decided to get into the practitioner space. And so when I started working in that space, I'm very analytical and business minded. So I went and started looking and researching and wanting to know what have I got is correct. Is there, I don't want to be giving out rubbish because I'm very, very ethical. So I want to make sure what I'm giving is the best and it's accurate. And as the more I researched, I went, oh, look at that. There's a Western and Japanese lineage. I had no idea I was on a Japanese lineage, and I was on Usui Reiki Ryoho, because that, I turned up with something that was told was good. I didn't know good for what, and I didn't even know it was a Japanese lineage or Usui Reiki Ryoho or a range of different things. And so my lineage comes from Mikao Usui, obviously, and then down through Harishi-do, and then I've trained with some other teachers as well, because that's how I first got into Reiki space. And I've done training with a number of teachers now, and also some teachers in Japan as well. But what was interesting is when I look back to those days and I look back how I operate now, there's no way I would turn up to a course that someone just said was good. I would be asking a million questions about it. I would be doing a heap of research, and I certainly would be shopping for the best teacher out there. I wouldn't have just turned up. So I look back those days, how pure and innocent was, but how it was the right thing and the right place to be, and how it's all feeding into everything that I'm doing now. So that's a little tiny snippet about my journey and how I got to Reiki, and it's a beautiful modality. I would recommend it to all, or anyone who's interested in knowing more. Feel free to contact me if you're interested in a Reiki session, or if you want Reiki 1, 2 and 3. I'm more than happy to help you in any way and support you in any way I can. Peace to you all. Keep shining your light. Much gratitude. Many thanks. Arigato. Gozaimasu.